This is the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation in Freetown. Good afternoon and a warm welcome to News Hour. My name is Mahawa Aliyu and thank you very much for joining us. Coming up in this afternoon's edition of the news, the National Revenue Authority seals some businesses in Freetown. SLBC looks at the deteriorating infrastructure of the government Rokel Secondary School. Krube community calls for more cleaning to prevent a flooding. And resident of Bananawata says activities of some members of their community expose them to flooding. All these stories and more, including business and sport news, lined up in this afternoon's edition of News Hour. Do stay with us. For our first story this afternoon, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation has said the government of President Bill strongly considers Cuba as a partner in promoting free education and affordable healthcare system for better living standard for all. Dr. Ali Kaba made these statements during a special address to mark the 65th anniversary of the Cuban Revolution at Family Kingdom Resort, Aberdeen, here in Freetown. Our reporter, Hawanat Conte, has details.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, while congratulating Cubans, underscored the significance of the huge historical event, which he said explained the collective achievements that brought both social and political progress for all Cubans. Dr. Kaba thanked the Cuban government responding to Sierra Leone during the Ebola crisis and mudslide incidents. He informed that the people of Sierra Leone are grateful for the manner in which Cuba responded to the Ebola crisis, when hundreds of Cuban medical doctors stood with Sierra Leoneans in fighting the Ebola. The Foreign Affairs Minister highlighted the long-standing bilateral relations between Cuba and Sierra Leone that spanned for over 40 years. He said anthropological research has traced the origin of some of the Cuban songs and dancing styles to Upper Banta chiefdom in Sierra Leone. Dr. Ali Kaba said the close bilateral relations between the two countries have been manifested in the fields of medicine, engineering, and agriculture, among others, through the awards of scholarships. He said they will continue to support Cuba and ensure that they collaborate in the international arena as they have always done, noting that they will not relent in their collective aspirations for a just and peaceful world. The charge d'affaires of Cuba, Leone Lazo Montalvo, expressed appreciation to the people of Sierra Leone, adding that his people are looking forward to a long-lasting bilateral and international relations between the two countries. He said they are willing and ready to work with the new direction government to enhance quality health.
Now, the Catholic bishops of Sierra Leone have commended President Bill for what they said are his initial steps in transforming Sierra Leone as well as fighting corruption. President of the Catholic Bishop Council, Bishop Charles Campbell, told President Bill that in the past few months they have followed with care attention the activities of the President. Mosiri reports.
President of the Catholic Bishop Church, Charles Campbell, described the government's efforts to provide free and quality education across the country as a laudable venture. He said the Catholic Church will be willing to complement the efforts of government in providing quality education through its numerous schools across the country. He also commended President Bill for his steps in fighting corruption in the country, adding that the collective and decisive actions must be taken to curb the menace in society.
The people of this country have entrusted you with a great responsibility. We offer prayers that God will give you and your government the strength and wisdom to meet the difficult challenges that we face as a nation. As Catholic bishops, we too are called upon to help in building our country. No ruler on their own has all the ideas and all the solutions. It is our responsibility as moral guarantors to continue to participate in the progress of Sierra Leone and its people, always with respect for human rights, truth, and the fear of God.
President Bio thanked the clergymen for the visit, as he said on countless occasions he had made commitments to fight corruption because it is a destructive element in society. President Bio noted that corruption is affecting the development process of the country, while his administration has declared corruption as a national security threat.
Like Pope Francis has spoken about corruption, it is definitely a threat to our existence as a nation. It has destroyed us. It has made us to be where we are on the human development ladder. So we have to fight it with all the strength that we have. And most times when you start it, people will bring the issue of witch hunt. It is not a witch hunt. When you identify a cancer, you have to kill the cells of those cancers.
He said with the recent policies, his government has raised more resources than any other time since independence.
But there's only so much that you can say about blaming. There has to be action. God is not going to come and help us here. He gave us conscience and He gave us the wisdom, and He also, when we ask Him, He will give us the divine direction. And I think that I've looked at everything. We have mobilized more resources internally than anybody has been able to do so, and since independence, to be able to really close the gaps that exist. We are exercising a lot of restraint in terms of expenditure management, but all of that will boil down to zero if we do not stop corruption.
SABC TV News are in Freetown. Hawa Mosiri reporting.
Now, residents of Banana Wotl in the west end of Freetown have raised concern over the activities of some members of their community who blocked the main drainage in their neighborhood. The blocking of the drainage has led to the clogging of cabbage, which leads to flooding in the community. The obstruction of the waterway is not unconnected with the construction work that was done at the Murraytown High Broad Street. Sheila Reffel files in this report.
The Banana Wotl Olushoro community has over 2,000 residents and is well known for its natural spring water, which is the main source of water for many people in that community who do not have pipe-borne water, and also serves other communities during Guma Valley shutdown emergencies. However, the activities of some members of the community have caused panic for some residents who are apprehensive, especially during the peak of the rains. The chief of Banana Wotl Olushoro community, Pa Almami Mansere, said recently there was a conflict between the community people, SLRA, and a house owner at High Broad Street. The chief said the blocking of the main drainage will cause flooding and calls for urgent intervention from the Freetown City Council and SLRA to build a proper drainage system.
The Banana Wotl Olushoro community has never experienced flooding. We are now calling on the government to intervene and build a proper channel so that the water can have a free flow.
Abubakar Ba, a roadside vehicle tire mender, called on government to help them with proper drainage as the rains affect his business.
We are pleading with the government to help us with more drainages in the community, as their fear is for the area not to flood.
It could be recalled that on the 3rd of August, the Deputy Minister of Justice tabled in Parliament the constitutional instrument number 64 and 65 Act number 6 of 1991. The instrument would enable the President to set up a commission of inquiry to investigate the people who were mentioned in the Governance Transition Team's report. Salma Toba has details.
When the paper was laid before Parliament by the Deputy Minister of Justice on the 3rd of August 2018, the Honorable Daniel Stevens of the APC representing constituency 046 and chairman of Legislative Committee, moved the motion understanding orders 18.8, section 170, subsection 7 of the Constitution of Sierra Leone, which outlines the procedures in the laying of papers, statutory and constitutional instruments in Parliament. However, the Speaker, Honorable Abbas Bondo, at that moment was not in agreement with the Standing Orders 18.8, which Honorable Kroma stood on as wrong standing orders and referred him to Standing Orders 25.1c. Honorable Daniel Stevens Kroma explained the background to the motion that he moved, which the Honorable Speaker objected to on the grounds that he stood on the wrong standing orders.
We've done that already. But unfortunately on that day, the relevant SOs quoted by me, the Speaker was not agreeable by those SOs. And what I was expecting, I'm not saying he must agree under a democratic dispensation. I'm not saying he must agree or he must not, he must disagree. But if he's skeptical or is not too certain as to whether those relevant SOs are the correct ones or not, or the relevant portions of the Constitution, then he should have said so and then allow us to respond.
Regardless of the standoff on the standing orders, Honorable Daniel Kroma had filed a motion in writing to the Clerk of Parliament before the 21 days elapsed.
I moved a notice. But what actually constitutes notice is for that notice to be reduced in writing. Okay? Which I have done. It is not in writing. I will have kept quiet, in fact. In the word of Parliament, I will have kept quiet. And then do the filing only. That constitutes notice, which I have done. So, as far as I'm concerned, the notice still stands because I have filed it at the office of the clerk.
He pointed out as his filing of motion has nothing to disrupt the process for the formation of the Justice Biobele George Wills-led Commission of Inquiry, as is one person who doesn't support corruption.
This is not done out of bad faith. And in fact, let me tell you now, there's no way I intend to stop Commission of Inquiry. It cannot. Let me tell the public now. I don't intend to stop any Commission of Inquiry. I'm not a proponent of any corruption. For those who know me, I can even go to the clerk. I cannot quote him, but I can make reference to him. I can make reference to the clerk, who was member of Parliament for the past 5 years. I can make reference to the Deputy Speaker. He was member of Parliament. He is still member of Parliament, but he has been member for the past 5 years. Together, we have all been members of Parliament. He knows me personally.
He said the Commission of Inquiry is in place, but it has to be done according to procedures. He said it appears that the governing party does not want the paper to be debated, adding that it was laid just a day before the House was adjourned until further notice, but said that it will not stifle the procedures.
The Commission of Inquiry is fine, and I am in support in my capacity as the chairman of Legislative Committee. So I'm really expecting that this Parliament, through our leadership, will give an opportunity for the people's representative to be heard. When they say it's debated, I said they are very good debaters. So let us be heard. So by the time the debate is concluded, one thing in the first place, debate or no debate, the Commission of Inquiry will carry on. It will carry on. So, but people will have better understanding of the implications after the debate.
You sense
in the event of debate, there will be better understanding.
Do you sense that the other side don't want this whole instrument to be debated? Do you sense that?
That is too early for me now. I cannot say so for now because I have faith in the system. I have faith in Mr. Speaker. I have faith in the leadership. The Deputy Speaker, I have faith in them. Even the Clerk of Parliament, I have faith in them. So I don't sense that they don't want us to debate it, except otherwise. Well, I don't really feel so.
Okay. He said the people of Sierra Leone must be given an opportunity to be further educated on the instruments for them to get a better understanding on the proposed Commission of Inquiry. However, SLPP's Honorable Ibrahim Tawakonte of Constituency 132 said the notion of APC that the SLPP want to avoid further debate on the legal instrument is not correct.
Of debating any matter, be it an instrument or document laid before Parliament, should not be judged as one party wants to evade the debate. why should we evade the debate? If there is a debate, if there is a need for a debate, there is a strong justification, or there are strong justifications to confirm that whatever needs to be debated on the statutory instruments that was laid before the House, there are strong justifications to justify it. So why should we evade the debate? There is no way to evade the debate. But Parliament is Parliament, and Parliament has its procedures.
Honorable Tawa said the objection by the Speaker was appropriate, citing that the sections which Honorable Daniel Kroma stands on are not appropriate for the said arguments.
The Honorable Daniel Stevens was present. The document was laid. After the document was laid, they went to another item on the order paper. That was the committee on appointments. The committee went through the painstaking efforts of reading the committee report in the well, one after the other, person after person. Imagine they were having about 25 or more, or 30 something approvals. They read all of those. And after, when the question for the approval of these nominees was put to members of Parliament, the Honorable Daniel Stevens stood in the well and raised an objection. In the first place, if he wants to call for point of order, he should have stood on SO 34. Immediately when the instrument was laid in Parliament. He did not do that. So on that basis, he has already nullified his arguments from the beginning. From the beginning, he has nullified his arguments because he did not object immediately after the document was laid. So now the document has been laid in Parliament. And following the process of subsection 7 of section 170 of 1991 Constitution, that document will be there for 21 days. And after 21 days, paragraph B of subsection 7, that document will have to be gazetted. Yeah? Already the document has fulfilled paragraph A of subsection 7. That is, whatever instruments, whatever you have that you want to bring into effect has to come to Parliament, and it has to be laid before Parliament. It has been laid. Now, paragraph C is already in progress. It is fulfilled in 21 days, and after the 21 days, paragraph B will come into effect. It will be gazetted. We are not against this instrument to be debated, but are we saying that because of the sake of debate, we should allow an instrument be debated on the wrong standing orders? No. Parliament has a guiding principles. Since he hasn't followed the process for objecting or moving a motion, there is no way the instrument will be debated. To the best of my knowledge, it's my opinion. Yeah, the Speaker can overrule if it so deemed it's proper.
The motion has been filed to the Office of the Clerk of Parliament, Honorable Parantawali. The clerk is out of the country and cannot be confirmed receipt of the motion. By look of things, it appears the instrument will likely not be debated as Parliament is on recess until further notice, and after 21 days it will become law. The question many are asking now is that is this instrument, which is going to lay the legal framework for the setting up of the Justice Biobele-led Commission of Inquiry, is not going to be debated in the world before it becomes law? SLBC News, Salma Tabai reporting.
Now, the people of Connaught have appreciated the President's bill for appointing indigents of Connaught District to various prominent positions in his government. They came out in large numbers to welcome their brothers and sisters with dancing and singing as they want to say thanks to their people for voting SLPP. Ibrahim Samura reports.
Hundreds of SLPP supporters and families of these political appointees from Connaught District came out to welcome their sons and daughters as a show of appreciation to the President Bio's led government for the number of appointments from Connaught Districts. President Bio appointed indigents of Connaught Districts to serve in various positions ranging from ministers and deputies, chairpersons, ambassadors and high commissioners. The homecoming of the presidential appointees of Connaught District was led by the Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources, Dr. Mori Manye. Addressing supporters at the SLPP party office and the Fachima Hall, the Minister of Mines, Dr. Mori Manye, said President Biu appointed over a dozen of indigents of Connaught district to serve in strategic positions under his administration, saying that the appointments are the highest ever in the political history of Connaught district. He thanked the people of Connaught district for the unflinching support they gave to the president and the SLPP party in the general elections. He thanked the people of Connaught district for their unflinching support they gave to the president and the SLPP party in general in the 2018 general elections by voting resoundly for the SLPP. He assured the Connaught people of more development projects under the new direction, but also cautioned them to be patient with the government of President Biu.
It must be very important because it means that there is a window here for us as Connaught to help development of Connaught, progress of Connaught. I think for far too long we have been relegated to the back. This suggests that we are moving forward. It can only mean well for us. Because now, so many of us in decision-making positions, it can only mean that
Other political appointees promised to transform the districts under the new direction and creating employment opportunities. Inhabitants of Connaught district praised President Biu for such appointments, describing him as honest leader who keeps to his promises. They called on their brothers and sisters appointed by the president to be always thinking of the district, as the district needs more developments ranging from safe drinking water, university or college, road networks, among others.
Now, the Minister of Information and Communications, Mohammed Ramanswari, has assured members of Parliament that President Biu is committed to the development of the telecommunications industry to match the country's information technology needs. The Minister was doing a presentation to the committee during an induction session for the new committee members. Nasiruddin Kuruma witnessed the session.
It's a useful tool for modern development. This induction, among other things, will empower the lawmakers to know more on telecom operations in the country. When they will have begun their visits to the areas that they supervise, committee members will have been empowered to know their rules of engagement. The Minister of Information and Communication informed members of the Parliamentary Oversight Committee that the President wants to ensure that regulations on the operations of the telecommunications industry is in line with the new direction agenda.
We have not been able to achieve digital migration. We have missed 1 million ITU deadlines to migrate from analog to digital. Again, I did not want to mention it. I wanted you to see the results. We are in advanced stages of discussions with potential partners so that we can effect the digital migration. The ITU proposal is you have to separate the infrastructure provider from the content provider. So in that digital migration, we're also making the SLBC, the public broadcaster, a major beneficiary so that we can change the landscape of broadcasting forever.
The minister further informed the committee that the President has ordered the payment of all outstanding arrears for subscription to international organizations like the ITU in order to solidify the country's international standing. According to the minister, a team of experts from the European Council is coming into the country to strengthen the country's cyber security. Minister Sware affirmed that the drafting of a legal instrument for the repeal of Part 5 of the Public Order Act of 1965 is almost complete and will soon be brought to Parliament. The chairman of the committee, Honorable Matthew Newman, stressed that MDAs under the supervision comprise technocrats. Honorable Newman said for an effective oversight, members of the committee must have knowledge of the operations of the MDAs.
We agreed to have this session because the committee by itself, we are dealing with highly professional industries, people who have the money, and we are protecting, our focus is to protect government and also the consumers or the citizens of Sierra Leone. So calling you all to order to have this training session is for us to participate, as highlighted in my opening statement, that we want to open up argument where we think we can use the legal instrument we have.
Former Information Minister Honorable Alhaji Ibrahim Ben Kabo, who is also a member of the committee, guided his colleague MPs on the mandate of the Oversight Committee.
To make this session interactive as much as possible so that we all know what the challenges are and what we are supposed as a committee to achieve during this session. To us, it's very, very important.
The Parliamentary Information and Communications Committee comprises two former information ministers, Honorable Alhaji Ibrahim Ben Kabo and Honorable Mohamed Bangura. The committee's oversight mandate covers NATCOM, SALCAB, GSM companies, and the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation, SLBC, among others. The induction exercise now prepares the committee members for their oversight function. SLBC News, Nasiruddin Koroma.
You're watching news on the SLBC in Freetown. We'll continue with more stories making news this afternoon. Magistrate Santigi Bangura of Freetown Magistrate Court No. 1 has granted 800 million leones bail to former DFID Facilities Manager David John Comfort. Mr. David John Comfort is alleged of duping a British citizen, Sonia Michael Owana, former DFID governance advisor, with 90,000 British pounds sterling. The accused made his first appearance before the court on 47 counts charges of obtaining money by false pretense. Aminash Nyanda Brema filed in this report.
The magistrate for the Freetown Magistrate Court No. 1, Magistrate Santigi Bangura, on Monday 6 August 2018 granted 800 million leones bail and 2 sureties to David John Comfort, who was alleged of duping a British citizen, Sonia Michael Warner, former DFID governance advisor, in the sum of 90,000 British pounds sterling. The magistrate further stated that the 2 sureties must tender their business documents to the courts, while the Deputy Master and Registrar should approve the bail. The matter was adjourned to the 13th of August 2018. The lead defense counsel, Mohammed Said Bangura, applied for bail on behalf of the accused, which was objected to by the associating counsel, Alimami Kroma, represented the complainant, Sonia Michael Warner, in the matter, stating the seriousness and nature of alleged offense, stressing the huge sum of money that is involved. The accused person, David John Comfort, former DFID facilities manager, was arraigned before the presiding magistrate Santigi Bangura on 47 counts of obtaining money by false pretense. Assistant Superintendent of Police Eric Dean is prosecuting the matter. Police allege that the accused David John Comfort on diverse dates from the 29th of February 2012 to the 15th of November 2016 at Rajus Electricals on Sheikha Stephen Street in Freetown allegedly obtained and defrauded Sonia Michael Warner the sum of 90,000 British pounds sterling on false pretense that he will build a house at Laka to be jointly owned by 2 of them, knowing same to be false.
Well, it's now time for some entertainment news, and we join Wilmaina Boko.
Hello and welcome to International News. I am Wilmaina Buku. Well, in today's summary, a Zimbabwe court Tuesday freed on bail 27 opposition supporters arrested by police last week on accusations of fomenting post-election violence. Magistrate Francis Vittorini granted $50 bail to each of the Movement for Democratic Change MDC members. Violence erupted last week after President Emerson Mnangagwa and his ruling ZANU-FP party won a national election. The MDC disputes the outcome and says the vote was rigged. The first round of voting in Mali's presidential election gave outgoing President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta a conclusive lead over his rival, but unresolved anger and finger-pointing over the results have highlighted some of the country's divisions. 18 of the 24 candidates in the election joined forces Monday to demand the resignation of the Minister of Territorial Administration and Decentralization, Mohamed A.G. Erlaf. They accused him of being to blame for an electoral robbery and urged people in the capital, Bamako, to rally on Tuesday. Security forces temporarily blocked the entrance of Nigeria's parliament on Tuesday, preventing lawmakers and others from entering for up to an hour, witnesses said. Witnesses said armed men wearing the black uniform of the Department of State Security stood at the gates of the building, where they were later joined by police officers. A Reuters witness said security agents, some of whom were masked, then allowed lawmakers to enter, but continued to bar government agencies and journalists. And Joseph Blanksin had always been a strong swimmer, so when the boat he was using had an accident and capsized, he didn't think twice about jumping in the water to help rescue those who had fallen overboard. Single-handedly, Blanksin managed to pull 13 people out of the river. The father of two eventually became exhausted as he went in and out of the river, rescuing one person after the other. While trying to save the 14th person, Blanksin tragically drowned. And that's all coming to you from the International News Desk in Freetown. I've been Leone Buku. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful day.
Many thanks then indeed to Leone Buku for the latest international news there. Well, from the international desk, we move over to entertainment. Jibril Kuruma, whose stage name is Loverboy, is a young traditional singer fighting the odds to survive, an indigenous singer in Bo City. Our entertainment producer Mohammed King Milan Bangura met with him in Bo and he compiled this report.
His name is Sedu Jallo, a Sierra Leonean, and the song is called Diamond Tears. Sierra Leoneans will wonder why such a musician playing such a music is not popular in his country, but very popular in Europe. The answer is foreigners respect traditional music, but in Sierra Leone, there's a less support for it. Presently, there are so many Sedu Jallos, but less attention is paid to them. One such talent is a young talented traditional singer, Jibril Kuruma, whose stage name is Loverboy. I met him in Bo City, where he is averagely popular. Loverboy was born in Moyamba, where he started his musical career and grew love for traditional music way back listening to the songs of the great Lansana Sheriff Steady Bongo. He got a stage name Loverboy because he is loved by his tribesmen. Loverboy said he has never gone to school and his dad was killed during the rebel war in Rotifunk, Moyamba district. With his self-made local guitar and bass drum, it took me and my crew to perform at a quiet place in Bo called Reservation.
Come with me.
This song composed in Mindi, translated in English, means my mom separated me from my family. The song explains how someone who is poor being neglected by his own family. He advised that Sierra Leoneans should work hard to be part of a family. Loverboy has complete different version on rumors that he started singing traditional music because another singer, Bobby, has made a great fame and success from it. I first released local album before Bobby. You understand? I started playing this instrument in the year 2002. Loverboy said he has no negative thought on the success of Bobby and pray that his time will surely come for success. He said he's not yet popular because he's not based in Freetown, and most importantly, people don't really appreciate our indigenous music. Loverboy has released about 4 albums, but the sales are slow. Some of those songs were recorded at Empire and LP Studio in Freetown. He said that never mind the slow sales, he won't stop composing and releasing more albums. Asked why he prefers playing traditional music instead of the contemporary music, he has this to say.
Well, first, nine God say.
Well, firstly, it's what God has destined for me to do. This type of music is what I know how to play. I've never been to school. I don't know how to read and write. If someone wants me to collaborate in any song, I'll definitely go there without writing. I believe in the guitar I'm playing right now. I can compose songs for myself. Loverboy said he will continue to play more traditional songs as his aim is to achieve an international recognition and emphasize that Sierra Leoneans should support and promote our local stars. Loverboy is popular in Bo City for a song he composed called Napimbiangi, a song in support of women neglected by their husbands. Sierra Leoneans should be proud to point at traditional singers as they are the true ambassadors showcasing the true identity of our country's culture through music, and Loverboy is one of them.
You're watching news on the SLBC in Freetown. Many thanks there indeed to the entertainment desk. Well, it's now time for the latest in sports, and Francis Bernard is all set.
It's Sports Update on News with me, Francis Bernard. And for sport, the newly constructed Olymp Africa Center at the Milton Marai College of Education and Technology, Godrich Campus, has been commissioned by Alassane Diak, Executive Director, Olymp Africa Foundation. The center has been named after former President of the National Olympic Committee, Henry Moore. Estamari Samoa has more.
Olymp Africa is a youth and community-based organization using sports as a tool to foster development on social critical issues like drug abuse and clique, among others. The building construction, which started in 2013, was put on hold because of Ebola outbreak in the country. The center will empower sportsmen to create about a positive change in their communities. Alassane Diak, Executive Director, Olymp Africa Foundation, said the kids are the rightful owners of the center and they must be respected, and said the center should not be used by politicians or for political purposes.
But let me tell you one thing. This building is owned by the kids of here. The kids living here are the owners of the school. You are the one going to use it. You are the one going to maintain it. And even if you are working on the football pitch and all the things, you are the one going to take care of it. In Olymp Africa, the second one is in Olymp Africa, there is no politics. There will be no political meeting here. Never, ever. Because we want to keep people together. We don't want people to be fighting.
President of the National Olympic Committee, Dr. Patrick Coker, appreciated the efforts of all those who in diverse ways contributed to the establishment of the center and promised to utilize it well.
One thing I promised was that before I leave office, we'll make sure we have a fantastic Olymp Africa center here in Norwich, and that has come to pass. When it comes to work, my NOC, I think, is one of the institutions I've worked with. We are very satisfied. I want to say thank you to them, because if you're seeing what we're seeing here, I mean, it was a fantastic job that they did. Now, Mr. Diak was supposed to come mid-August, and it was only about a week ago that he said, no, I'm coming the first week in August. So we had to really and truly put all hands on deck to make sure we finish this building in such a presentable manner.
Dr. Max Abdullahi Konjo, Vice Principal of the Milty Magai College of Education and Technology, said their institution is passionate about sport and may want to see its developmental stride.
The Magai College of Education and Technology is one of the few institutions that trains individuals in physical health education. We come to this field to play football very regularly. Unfortunately, when Ebola came, everything changed. We gave access as an institution to this the field. We gave access to the British to construct what we have now here as an Ebola center. But there was an agreement in place that when they leave, they will have to return the field back to us as an institution and to Olympic Africa, so that the activities should continue. A new direction is here, and a new administration is in place, to which I'm a part. And we are determined, myself and my boss, the principal, Dr. Philip John Connaught, we are determined to get the feedback.
The President of Women in Sports Committee, Pamela Williams, unveiled the official name of the Olymp Africa Center. Medals were distributed to Sierra Leone Olymp Africa team that won the 2018 Olymp Africa Football Net Cup in Ivory Coast. Esther Maisama, SLBC TV.
Well, from that story, we now move over to football, as the national under-17 male team has resumed training at the Sierra Leone Football Association Academy. This training is in preparations of the African under-17 Nations Cup. Over 30 players have been called to take part in this particular training. Well, in swimming, Joshua Wise for the Sierra Leone Swimming Association has qualified for the Argentina Youth Olympic Games that will be held in Argentina in September. Well, that's all we can provide for you in this edition of Sports Update on Newsa. I am Francis Bernard.
Well, many thanks then indeed to Francis Bernard for the latest in sport. And now to end news, a quick reminder of the top stories. The National Revenue Authority has assailed some businesses in Freetown. SLBC has looked at the deteriorating infrastructure of Rokel Secondary School here in Freetown, and Krube community has called for more cleaning to prevent a flooding. And residents of Banana Wotl have expressed concern over the activities of some members of their community. Well, that's all in this edition of the news. On behalf of the rest of the team, my name is Mahawa Aliyu. For more about our programs, do send us your comment to slbc.sl. Thanks for watching the news, and good afternoon.